Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Colorado National Speedway for the Battle of the Fenders 300 on Low Budget TV. I'm Jeffrey Best alongside Tommy Mason. And Tommy, it is a bit chilly. You can see the snow around the facility, but things are about to heat up on the racetrack.
I don't think the weather had any impact on the car count. We have 40 cars getting ready to take the green. It'll be a 300-lap race or 3 hours, whichever comes first. These are street stock style or compact cars, anything with a fender, as we go green here for the first of 300 laps to determine who is the king with the fenders.
Well, much like any fun short track race, especially in Enduro, you're going to see that there's nowhere to hide here today. We got cars all over. They're already 3 wide as the green flag flies. We're still getting them all through.
Well, we get this race started, and with some highlights, here are some of them. A lot of racing around the racetrack, a lot of close quarters you see on the back straightaway, a couple of cars making some contact, and we got trouble on the front stretch.
That's Kylie Jones in the 49 going around on the front straightaway. And as you said, Tommy, we're going to be taking a look at these highlights, which there's a lot of them, for the first half of this race. And then we'll jump into the full deal when we get later on into the second half. This is the replay for Kylie Jones.
All over the place and ends up near the front straightaway wall. Now, what do you think as she's sliding across an entire 4 or 5 wide pack of stalkers coming at her? That's a nail-biting moment.
Not fun, I'd say.
But we continued on after the restart. We're 3 wide into turn number 1, and that didn't work.
Into the wall. Bit of heavy contact there for the 77. Richard Rusty Burton. That was Grasso that went around.
So those two smacked the wall, but they're going to continue on, trying to find an opening here on this track that is filled with a line of cars. It looks like we are good to go, and some damage there. Other problems in turn number 3.
Oh, multiple cars going for a spin. Sean Fry in the 69, the 555. Gotta love the numbers.
Yeah, you know what? If it's a full track, it's going to be a car with full numbers, and there's more contact over there in turn number 4. So yeah, Jeffrey, I think we're finding out that the first half of this race was wild.
What a sad front bumper to kick off the thing. And yeah, big surprise, right? That the first half of this race, you got the most cars on the racetrack that you'll have all day. Of course, this is going to be the wild one. I find it so interesting how the different looks. It's still getting crazy out there.
Yeah, it is.
Oh man, do we have trouble on the back straightaway?
Yeah, 2 cars stuck in the infield.
This one's worse. This is a bigger problem on the back straightaway, not just the spin.
Yeah, Bolus and Spalding look like they've caught up to each other somehow on the back straightaway. Here's a replay, and looks like 3 wide gone wrong, and there's a wheel. So somebody lost, looks like, yeah, the car that's obviously doing donuts, trying to refire and keep it going. Didn't work out.
That was a big hit. Watch this third car pile in here as they got together. They're going to get sideways, and then there's just nowhere to go, and all 3 of these cars took turns lifting up 2 of their tires at a certain time.
And right in front of your pit crew on the back straightaway, so immediate wonder and probably rushing to the pits. Now the pits are all located on the back straightaway, so the crew unfortunately going to have to assess to see what they need to bring in to pit.
More action taking place here. Another highlight, just a simple spin there for Joel, the number 98.
Going to keep it going though, not losing any time, and he's going to just try to rejoin the field. Jeffrey, this race looks like a lot of fun. A lot of stuff going on.
Can you get us a car for next year?
Hey, I think we can only ask. Oh, is that Kylie going around again? Turn number 4. And you can see that snow, Jeffrey. You got to wonder what the shape of the infield is like. And she's mud
I think you're
now.
Getting your answer right now.
Look at this thing. Sending the mud around Colorado National Speedway. Said, Kylie, you can't lift. Don't lift. Keep it going. Hopefully she can make it out. Oh, it might be stuck.
Well, now we're farming.
She's trying. She's kind of trying to get something going, or maybe she's waiting her turn. Either way, she's going laps down.
This is how they came up with the name for the city. Dacono.
Oh, no. Well, she's out of the mud and she's going.
And everyone checked their phones.
Absolutely.
So the 49 having those issues there. Again, you mentioned it. A lot of highlights here in the first half of this race.
And 3 wide into turn number 1 up ahead.
Well, the 40 just got out of the mud. And now she's sending the Judd.
And more trouble.
Oh, a big hit, and the biggest hit of the day.
That's Donahoe and Hindergaard.
Yeah, Hindergaard was the one who got nailed their rear end job. Going to have to get insurance involved for this one in turn number 1.
Look at that back end. That thing is gone. That thing is complete. Now, this is an off-season for fun race, but it just turned expensive.
Yeah. Suddenly, it's became a much shorter off season. Here's how it started.
Uh-oh, yeah, overcorrection, it looks like.
And here's how it ended.
And nowhere to go but right into the back of the car. What a helpless feeling for both competitors.
Kylie Jones has had a long start to this race. This is, again, looking back at the replay of... it still had mud on the tires, so, you could probably make the argument. Wait a minute.
Jorge Garcia in reverse. He went reverse down the back straightaway, and then he loses it.
Hold on.
It was cool, and then it's turned into a nail biter.
I'm still biting those nails. Well, that was some stunt driving.
Here's your lead battle, and all the craziness. Kimmler, McKeever, and Banks all do in battle here through traffic. And there you see the white and yellow number 6 in the lead, chased down by Kimmler and McKeever in the orange and white 16. So DJ Banks, look at that traffic that the 6 car has.
When you have a fast car, this has to be so much fun. I imagine even if you have a slow car, this event has to be just a ton of fun.
It is. We're finding out, Jeffrey, this is a true survival race. This is a real enduro.
Oh, yeah, this is absolutely what an enduro should look like. And obviously the competition's big here. You see a great battle for the lead, but
we got problems.
We got a safety truck on the racetrack.
Oh, and this car was already losing the front bumper. Jeremio in the 06 now is in the infield.
There goes the safety truck.
Yeah, I think that's kind of like the cleaner truck per se. We see it cleaning up oil downs during a race on a normal night at Colorado.
Well, the fun hasn't stopped yet.
Oh, and that's going to happen. Throwing it too hard into turn number 3, and around goes the 21 of Lang and the Dent team. You see multiple drivers. Sometimes they're just passengers.
Yeah.
But you got to give them their respect. Christopher Galvin, 41G going off the track. Looks like that motor is expiring or has already expired. It's puffing a little bit.
It's the chimney.
Yeah. Oh, but he's got traffic. Where are you going to go?
That's a sig alert if I've ever seen one.
Wow. Well, that's not
ideal
when you're trying to make a pit. Well, as you see, this track is still full, and we got the 12 around. Racing all around. Sean Soley in the 12S goes around out of turn number 4.
Now, I know I saw a golf cart. Tell me that thing's racing.
Why not? Lead battle continues.
So DJ Banks, Kimmler.
Oh, they got a split traffic that spun out, and we saw them go side by side for a flash. So this could be the lead change. Taking a look at what happened. You can see the variety. We got an 80s stock car versus a 90s little compact.
Well, the compact never had a chance.
Never had a chance. The lead change didn't happen, so they went side by side through traffic, but Banks still holding on in the 6.
And they see the continued working through the lap traffic. This went on all during the first part of the race, and you can see this is the difference maker. You get some side-by-side cars in front, you get some 3 wides that you have to drive through. It was all about navigating that traffic, and these two did it the best.
You see cars pulling into the pits, cars just now coming out, any tire changes and repairs, as more lap traffic in front and making contact.
Well, did it the best for then until this takes place. Is the 97 going to be able to get out of mud?
Up on the Demo X jump.
Oh.
And just a bit of a collection after a spin. And yeah, what do you think if you're the 97 just holding onto the brakes trying not to go airborne?
Well, there is a jump there that the Demo X series uses. Now we saw this before.
And you're going to see it for the second time in this race. For two spins there for the 21. And more lap traffic. In front, look at that. There's a huge swarm. 21 cars still trying to get refired down on the apron. Chris Cox there in the 49. competitor regularly at Colorado National Speedway, as well as most of these cars. Always makes it fun here, but your leaders having to navigate. If it's not lap traffic, it's themselves that they're battling. So they are duking it out here, trying to find a way through lap traffic as quickly and cleanly as possible. Jay Banks making it look good though up front. He's got himself about a 3 car length lead.
And it's like he's had that the whole time.
Yeah. And they continue on. Now, interesting note, Cox and the 97 are also in this battle, but laps apart. Trouble.
Trouble for your leader. So Banks having to pull it off of the racetrack from the lead, obviously knowing that there's an issue with the car there, pulls it off track. The trouble isn't done, though. This is why you don't give up in an Enduro. Another big hit. That wreck never stopped for Moody.
No, Moody up into the wall. You wonder what happened to Banks' car, because we didn't see it smoking or anything other than he just peeled off to the pits. You don't want to get hit by Duran's tank and the 191. That thing, the car's already damaged. It's done. We don't need to kick it when it's down.
No, that'd be nice. Let's take a look. This is the slow-mo of that incident that took place. Once again, a compact car. This looks like Cold Trickle.
It did, and then it looked...
Give me some lovin'. Give me some love.
Into the wall.
No lovin'.
Turn 2.
Nick Love. Oh, my.
And more trouble, it looks like, into turn number 1. Jorge Garcia around. And is he going to do a reverse stunt move?
Again?
I think he's going to do it again.
Oh, turn.
Oh, he's in the wall, though. That's not going to help.
That's not going to do it.
There was another spin off to the right of that shot, but Jorge stealing the show.
What do you do now, Jorge?
Yeah, he didn't spin to the infield like he did last time. He's going to have to work the hard way. He made it, though.
This guy's vouching for a reverse racing series.
I think he would be the automatic winner.
Now that's... What?
We might have a rivalry.
I think so.
Mueller and Duran making contact. Chris Mueller, a longtime racer at Colorado National. He raced in the Spear Southwest Tour race in the past. Right now he's racing with a hood open.
Aerodynamics.
That's right. How can you see?
Sometimes you don't need to see.
Yeah, maybe
you drive by the feel of the car. Didn't you watch Ricky Bobby?
That's true. Here's a replay. Out of 4.
Oh, I can see where the unhappiness has come from.
You gotta wonder what this flag man is thinking. He's thinking of getting the heck out of the way. And then they continued on into turn number 1, as we saw. Well, the first half looks to be done here, Jeffrey. Lap 150 of 300. They're going to do a 20-minute break in the pit area after all the cars come to a stop. Here's your top 5. Kimmler McKeever with Tommy Rowe, Chris Cox, Sean Sully, and Kyle Carrasco. The top 5 here halfway through the Battle of the Fenders at Colorado National Speedway.
And we welcome you back to Colorado National Speedway for the Battle of the Fenders. The first 150 laps are done. It is time now for the second 150. We saw a lot of setup to get to this point. Tommy, what can we expect?
Well, I think we were watching a great battle for the lead until it wasn't, but we've rebunched the entire field up. So what you're seeing on screen here is all the field in their correct running order, maybe some laps between the few, but the front row has your 2 leaders coming to the green, and they are battling for the win for the second half.
Well, it's going to be a jump to the lead here for Rowe in the number 1. Getting ahead of the Kimmler McKeever machine in the 16.
And I think it's going to be probably the same story as the first half, right? You want to survive, you want to keep the fenders on to battle for those fenders later on, and you want to just try to get through that lap traffic as cleanly and as quickly as possible.
The first half of this race, it was entirely about making it to this half. You wanted to survive, not have too many issues. As you see your top 3 drivers right here, Cox in the 49 also being able to keep it together. These are the cars that now deserve to be racing it out here for the win. You had to survive. They're already into lap traffic. It goes to show the speed disparity.
And you can see, Jeffrey, how quickly they had a 5-car lane separation until they got to lap traffic. Now it's within 2 car lanes. We saw in the background the 97 yellow car outside of the top 5, but trying to make their way through this traffic. Again, just because your lap's down doesn't mean you're out of this race. You want to position yourself, as some cars are struggling to even run.
Trying to have a battle for the lead there, but a little bit of lap traffic comes into play. Again, we've seen that play out all the way up to this point. You see issues there for the 77. Looks like the right front's broken.
Yeah, I wonder if it smacked the wall or smacked another car, or these enduro races, Jeffrey, they're tough on equipment. That's a car that probably was hoping in its lifetime to run 30 lappers, and it's trying to go 300.
So one interesting note here for those of you that are not familiar with Colorado National Speedway, and particularly this event. Tommy, by now people have noticed that there aren't really anybody in the grandstands.
Yeah, this is a public event, but no grandstands or concession open on the normal front straightaway. It's all located on the back in the pit area. Really cool though, because that's a view and that's an area that normal public would not get to enjoy because it's full of race cars and crew members. But because we only have one race today, albeit a big one, it's you've got every ticket as a pit pass. So really neat, as they're all part of the action. They just look behind themselves and see pit stops, and they look ahead and see a battle for the win.
And of course we share that because we don't want anyone watching to go, wow, not a single person showed up.
They're all here, but they're all in the pits.
Yep.
And yeah, we're the lone souls here with the officials below us. They're trying to score the race, and we're trying to watch it happen. Almost on the rear bumper is Kimmler in the McKeever machine, the 16, trying to get by Tommy Rowe, who is leading, but every time he catches a lap car, finds a way to get through.
Yeah, it's kind of that accordion effect that we're seeing. Rowe right now, he dips to the low side, but it's not going to pay off for him here as they go side by side, and here comes the Kimmler McKeever, number 16.
Yeah, I'm sure if you run up front this entire race, you become a master of traffic. This is probably a great learning exercise for the youngsters around Colorado National Speedway, because look at the amount of lap traffic, and you've got to always be efficient, whether it's an enduro or it's a normal Saturday night race here at Colorado National. You do not want to get held up by traffic. Well, you've got it all in this race.
Now, I see these compact cars. Do we have a compact division here at Colorado National?
Jeffrey, the only compact class that I've ever seen at Colorado National, Demo X. But
Okay,
I'm pretty
that counts.
sure that these drivers have come from other racetracks, which is always fun to see because there's no other racing going on right now this time of year.
Yeah. Well, we love that they're all out here. It's, you mentioned it, the Enduro. We have specifications of what kind of cars can qualify to be in this event, but it's fun to see all the different drivers and cars and teams that are out in the pit area that it came out. Obviously, they packed it here, and it's honestly a beautiful day. We know that you're seeing the snow around the track, so it probably looks colder than it is, but beautiful weather, at least here in the sunlight.
You know it's a beautiful day when the flagman, who's standing above the action, is just kind of wearing pants and a light, long sleeve up on the flag stand. So a beautiful sunny day here at Colorado National Speedway outside of Denver, and we got a car plowing up ahead.
I mean, that's probably how that car just drives.
Mm-hmm.
That is
the body
tank,
roll. Yeah, that's
the Durand tank.
I think it's shaking and moving, but your leaders get by just okay enough. And you can see the gap closes in and then spreads out. So you wonder, Jeffrey, second place, using Rowe as the shovel to get through this right now, letting Rowe have all the hard work to do as Kimmler and McKeever just kind of let it ride.
Well, we've already seen the leaders have issues with lap traffic in this race. Sometimes it's good to not be, the shovel. Let someone else do the work. If you can keep up with them, that's the important thing. But you do not want to start losing time. That's when you're going to be in panic mode. Right now, what they're doing, which is interesting because this is the exact same thing we saw the 16 doing earlier, but with a different car leading.
Yeah, so DJ Banks, he pulled off in the first half, had a mechanical issue, but he did get involved, like you mentioned, with lap traffic. Is that the damage that put him out, or was it something under the hood unrelated? Either way, it's about trying to get through this traffic as cleanly as possible. But no matter how you shake it, Jeffrey, this is a 300-lap race, and not once has anybody not had a fight for the lead. Nobody's running away with it.
Yeah. which makes it fun for us.
Yeah. So again, every end of November, if you are in the Colorado area, go check out Colorado National Speedway's annual Battle of the Fenders. We got problems into turn number 1.
Those are battles of the fenders right now. There's the Duran tank.
Yeah, and it looks like they had it coming together over in turn number 1. Let's take a look
Now,
here.
does this have anything to do with this car not being able to turn is my question.
I'm thinking so, or maybe turning too much right there.
Yeah. Well, that's what happens when it's very tight. You're still turning when you come off of the corner.
Yeah,
Oh,
these
man.
two are grinding the wall Days of Thunder style into turn number 1.
Oh, I hope those are rentals.
As we continue on racing here.
And there it is. Right there you saw it. The 5 car got loose, and now Rowe is having to be careful right here to not get any additional contact.
And you wonder if Kimmler and McKeever, they're just kind of watching this play out, or is it their opportunity to pounce?
Well,
The 97 still trying to get a lap back. Looks like he's running in 3rd, but he's actually outside of the top 5 still. But every lap matters in case something goes wrong.
yeah, remember that car had the issue earlier in the race when spinning into the infield and was able to continue on, but lost that time to the leaders, trying to regain it back. The 97 clearly has speed. Oh,
Cox there.
man.
Look at Cox in the background. He's not on the lead lap, but he's still in position, running in 3rd.
Now they're side by side in front of Rowe. So where's the 1R going to go? Gonna get that opening on the inside line. I love the paint scheme on this 64.
Yes.
It's such a throwback scheme for me to look at.
A lot of these pure stocks have some of the old throwback paint schemes. You see Cox in the 49 and the 64 here, Mark Martin replica. We've seen the Bobby Allison paint scheme and whatnot. So always fun here, but Rowe has to be careful. Taking it to the inside of a 3 wide. There's the Lang and Dent 21 car that's had 2 spins in this race earlier. Looks like they got the car.
Oh man, I'm watching Cox
Yeah.
here over to the right. Looks like he's able to square that away.
Cox is trying to not lose ground to the leaders. Already a couple laps down, and you don't want to have the leaders run away from you. So they are fighting through this lap traffic. Colorado National Speedway, 3/8 of a mile. They typically run right on the white stripe down at the bottom. But in this race, we've seen them run on the apron, above the wall sometimes, into the wall.
Through the mud.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just got to go where they aren't, and there's a lot of they out on the racetrack here
40
today.
cars, isn't that great?
I'd love to see that turnout. You talked about it, how it's just after the Thanksgiving celebration. Everybody's nice and full. They got their turkey, and now they get to drive like turkeys on the racetrack.
That's right. Why not? On a brisk Saturday afternoon here at Colorado National.
We'll see who could win the gravy.
That's right. Who's gonna pour it on?
All right, well,
Now the 97, you gotta wonder, is he a pest to this battle, or he's right there in the mix? I mean, again, not for position per se, but definitely trying to get a lap back to improve his track position.
yeah, well, Kimmler McKeever in the 16 car has the opportunity right now to decide, do I want to let the 97 go and then let him pass through the 1 of Rowe? Rowe obviously dealing with all the traffic in the front, but that 97's got the pace to possibly be a bit of a pain here. And if you're the 16, is it safer to just let the lap traffic go if they're faster than you?
Yeah, I mean, you can say that, but then at the same time, if something happens with that pass, and maybe the 1 and the 97 drive away from you, well, then it would have been better. Maybe he needs to let him by.
A little
He's already sliding out forward.
Yeah. Driving on ice would have been the case if this was a night race.
Uh-huh.
All right. Well, now your leaders are working through that. And you and I talk about this all throughout the year, no matter what division we're covering, because sometimes we hear people get on, like, having slower traffic in a race, and we're like, but this is the fun of it.
Yeah.
It offers a challenge to your leaders and honestly spices everything up. That 16 starting to apply more pressure here.
Bolus in the 63 on the outside, they go by. And you're right, if you're going to win this race, if you're going to survive with your fenders on, you got to get through this traffic. I can't tell if Rowe's struggling or if the 16 is turning it up.
I mean, and if I am that 97, I'm going to keep pressuring. What I need is for these leaders to have an issue.
Absolutely. The 100 up ahead. Next car to go a lap down. Tommy Rowe keeping those left sides planted on the inside. Kyle Carrasco and Ray Henson, that's the 97, in 5th. Still multiple laps apart from each other, but 4th and 5th on screen. You see the wagon of the 5C up ahead and the 97 right there of Henson.
Now, how do you see this 5 station wagon and not think of Holiday Road?
This is beautiful. It just needs an ant on top. Not like a bug, but the actual ant.
Oh, like someone's ant?
Yeah, someone's ant. And then they need to jump.
That's all they need to do.
Well, here we go. So what we're effectively seeing is 4 out of the top 5 on the screen amongst each other.
For the brief moment there, you saw Cox slip into the shot. So, again, this is big because the 5 of Carrasco is trying to stay ahead of that 97.
Yeah, and the 97 is going to use potentially the leaders to sneak on by. You can see.
Boy.
Rowe is still working up.
Oh, that's 16. Now, let's talk a little bit about tires. Obviously, these drivers know that they're doing 2 sets of 150 laps.
You only get one break. Yeah. If you go into the pits anytime before that break and after that break, because you probably broke.
And it's finally happened here. The 97 being able to wedge in between your leaders. So now Henson's going for the leader now to get a lap back potentially in the event of a stoppage.
And you saw the right side of the screen. Cox is trying to get a lap ahead of the 5C. Another lap ahead, I should say. So, yeah, I mean, the top 2 are the only 2 on the lead lap here in this part of the race. But anything can change. A leader has already fallen out of this race already. Anything can happen with how close the top 2 are running.
And we've been treated to this. Like, a lot of times in Enduros, you're talking about a driver who's going to be multiple laps ahead of the field by this point. And instead, we've been treated to a battle for the lead basically from the get-go.
Yeah.
And lots of side-by-side action, some of which the leaders are coming up on again.
Yeah, at some point, the leaders are very familiar with some of these cars. I think of Bolas there in the 63. Sorry, Ken, but that's not the first lap he went down. But then there becomes that awareness. You know which line that these cars are predictably running. Doesn't mean they're going to hold that line every lap, but I guess it maybe makes it easier when you're closing in on 100 laps to go later on.
Well, maybe if the 63 didn't let people by so easily, maybe, are you trying to tell them, hey, don't go high. Don't stay down low.
Change it up once in a while.
Weave a little bit down.
Yeah. You know? Well, look at this, though. I mean, as quickly as they get through lap traffic, the battles have yet to go away. 97 right there. Henson still trying to figure out a way around Rowe as we took a wide look here of the racetrack. Still cars exiting the pits, entering the pits, and all the different cars still working around the Colorado National Speedway.
More compact action.
Pretty cool. Hey, you know what? If this didn't have a brake, I feel like the compacts would have an advantage. Maybe not horsepower-wise.
Fuel.
They would never have to stop for fuel.
That's right. Okay, well, I thought the 97 was going to get an opportunity.
Oh,
going to take an opportunity.
I think he is.
Now, again, we go back to the risk versus reward. For Rowe right now, is it too risky to be trying to hold off the 97 who's clearly showing that he wants by?
Or does Rowe give him an opportunity but accidentally leave the door open for Kimmler and McKeever?
The driver who's motoring right now, that 97, is this going to work? Outside?
Outside pass potentially. It might work. Trying to get a lap back.
But look who's coming into the shot. The 49 of Cox is now closing back in on your leaders as the 97 finally able to get back one of those laps. Number 69.
That's, pound sign 69.
Hashtag 69. Hashtag nice.
You can see the 97 starting to drive away and get sideways. Cox is right there. Are your leaders, Jeffrey? You think they might be saving a little bit?
Or have they used their stuff up?
Very true. Now Cox, he's looking for a lap back.
Oh, Road.
Oh, big stack up. Bolus around. Turn number 2.
You know what he did? He took our advice.
He changed it up.
He parked it right there on the inside line and said, you know what? You guys can go into my outside. Let's see what actually took place here with the 63.
So him and Mark Martin side by side, and the 66.
Mark Martin dumped him.
Intimidate, but
yeah, he didn't have to touch him, but he dumped him. Air dump.
Yep. Learn from
Cox
Earnhardt.
is coming.
Fighting for a lap back here. He's to the inside of the 1R of Rowe.
And you see it there, 95 laps to go, and the 49 may be cranking up the wick here, saying it's go time, getting to the inside of Rowe. Now, Rowe, for the first time, it feels like in this entire race, biggest lead that we've seen.
Yeah, I mean, there's a good-sized gap now from that incident we saw with Bolus over in turn number 2. That's going to stretch it open, and Cox is going to get by and get a lap back on the scoring loop. But it is still the top 2, the only cars on the same lead lap here. Everybody else laps down and likely amongst each other throughout this field. But again, Jeffrey, it's all about positioning yourself.
You know, and the 49's doing exactly what he needs to do right now. The problem is that he lost the time that he did earlier on, taking another look at the wide shot. Beautiful facility here, by the way, Colorado.
The shadows are starting to get a little bit longer as the race moves on. But yeah, you can't mistake that sun-soaked racetrack. This thing is beautiful with the snow in the infield, on the infield mountains, I should say.
The little mountains.
Mm-hmm. The flag man there just getting a good up-close view, man. He's got the most perfect front row seat.
You know what he's thinking? That he thought the Rocky Mountains would be a little rockier than this.
Yeah, that's true. But here we are, still racing here for the lead.
Reeling it in. That fishing hook's being put to use right now. Starting to pull back in your leader, the Kimmler McKeever, 16. Catching up to Rowe in the number 1.
Looks like about an 8 car length lead that is starting to shrink a little bit here. And both of these cars, you can see them through the corners. They are working the steering wheel and the right foot, maybe a little bit of the left foot. But now, they're busy.
They're working every foot.
You know, what's fun about these tires, these Hoosier tires, you hear about how you can probably go around 300 laps on a set, but why would you ever need to when the races are about 30 to 40 laps? However, you can practice on them all season. Well, today it's a 300-lap race, so you can see that these Hoosiers are starting to get tired.
They're a little warm, even on a cold day like this one, or at least a chillier day like this one. All right, the battle for the lead is back on. The 16 all over that rear bumper.
16 on 16 action. So 230 laps complete. Rowe, Kimmler, McKeever, Cox, Carrasco, and Henson still battling with 70 to go.
Oh boy, working that inside. I do like, because I've been in this situation myself, driving these types of cars out at Irwindale Speedway on the 3rd mile, you get that feeling, right, where you're like, uh-oh, car on the inside, and you do that big correction, that big get out of the way movement, and sometimes it gets you in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, sometimes you just run a particular line every lap of the race, and once you step out, sometimes we got trouble. But once you step out, sometimes it can disorient or even make the car upset.
We do got trouble.
So we got caution on the track. We don't see anything. Oh, we see an official running, so it looks like debris. Is that a bumper?
It's a walking stick.
It's a walking stick. There's Joe Starr there. Star Photography.
Just having a bit of a walk.
Why not? It's caution's out. We are back to racing, and guess what? We're still duking it out for the lead.
Go figure. Now that was an opportunity right there. Now you see every now and then you'll catch glimpses. The 49 at Cox still just a little bit ahead of your leaders. The driver that we're not seeing right now, Henson, he's still got some laps to make up. But the thing is that car drove away from your leaders. Cox there in the 49. Now that it looks like your leaders are starting to close back in on him.
And the fun thing about this race, for those of you that do make your chance to be here, when we go yellow for something, once it's cleaned up and the safety workers are off the track, they flip the lights back on. We don't have a pace car.
Nope.
So that's why we got a restart missed, because we're showing a replay. It doesn't matter, you haven't missed anything, as we still battle for the win here as they are sorting through lap traffic.
Now, sorting as in S-O-R-T or sorting like you're holding a sword?
You know, I meant the T, but I think we're at the actual fight to the death for the win here.
They're having a sword fight on the racetrack.
They sure are. Everywhere. Every corner and every straight.
Row, row, row your boat in the lead.
More lap
I've been
traffic.
waiting to do that this whole race, by the way. I'm sorry.
But, hey, you got it in there. The deed is done for the year.
I'm sure he's never heard that one.
Never. What do you got? What works for Kimmler and
Law.
It sounds like
they're
a law
firm.
firm. Yeah, law firm. Well, they're
Why
trying.
were you waiting for me to go somewhere with law?
I was just waiting, actually. Well, they go by the 69 car as we still battle for the win here. Jeffrey, a 300 lap race, and we are being absolutely treated. I think you mentioned that perfectly early on in the broadcast, because this is a rarity, I feel like, to see a battle for the win the entire race.
Well, it really makes me think that the 16 team is committed to this. That they may be the better car here, and we saw this again.
Oh, bumper tag.
Well, okay, you don't need to let Roe know that bad, but I'm getting the idea that look, maybe a little adjustment there to the rear
that
bumper.
bumper is bent.
Well, now you pissed him off. So great. All right. What could have been just a nice, simple battle for the lead. Now it's going to get some tempers flowing.
Man.
Oh dear. But yeah, no, that's the impression I'm getting. Is the 16's exactly where they want to be, and Roe might be the rabbit that's trying to get away from the very fast porter.
You know, and I feel like lap traffic is somewhat helping Roe. If that is the case, Jeffrey, I feel like the 16, right as he starts to make a pass for the lead, Roe is able to get through lap traffic just a little bit better. And I feel like once we're in a good, clean part of the track, that's when the 16 arrives.
Taking another look at the field going on by. You see the Cox machine coming out of turn 4, crossing the line there.
Not quite the 40 cars that we started with, but still a good field of cars running.
That happens in an Enduro.
We saw how crazy that first half was, so yeah, you're right. It's a beautiful day here at Colorado National Speedway. At the end of November, we got cars on the racetrack. What more can you ask for?
More smoke.
Yeah,
I could ask for more smoke.
A lot of smoke. Is that a motor going bad in front of the leaders?
Oh, well, there's one way to find out.
Cox is there trying to get position on track.
Now, Roe hasn't had to do this a lot here today, going on the outside, and it might have been a mistake. Contact with your leaders.
And lead change at the line. How long is it going to last? We're still blowing one up ahead. That's a 69. That's blue smoke, too. That's motor.
Well, your leader's coming back into frame, and you see the 16 has completed the pass. And look who's also moved back in on this, the 49 at Cox.
Yeah, not wasting any time. Sean Fry is frying a motor, it looks like, as your leaders are right in that area. No fluid down, it seems, as nobody's really spinning out. But Jeffrey, we talk about capitalizing on a potential moment, lap traffic, and we're still not done.
Well, Roe now needs to find that capitalizing moment. Had to go to the outside, didn't have to, but chose to go to the outside, tried to complete the pass. The car he was trying to pass is still in front of him, the number 12. So Kimmler McKeever, the 16, makes the move, takes the lead. Will we see? Now, this is where it's really going to test the theory that I've had, that the 16 may have been the best car all day long and just waiting, biding that time. If the 1 now is able to keep up with the 16, Tommy, we're just that even.
Yeah, absolutely. And you figure bumpers could come into play at the end of this race. Neither of these cars look to be handling great. Roe is running right back up to the back bumper of the 16 of Kimmler McKeever's team. And Jeffrey, we are not done battling for the win.
Well, I'm wondering how much of a right rear that 16 has left.
Yeah.
All day long, driving it on the right rear, sliding it as the 63 back up top. So Roe now, yeah, it's going to be that question. If Roe is able to stay with the 16, now my theory is going to slip to, was he just maintaining the gap?
Here we go again into turn number 1. Picking through lap traffic and battling for the lead.
2 18s on the screen.
18 sandwich.
really is.
Rowe is going to pour it into turn number 3. I mean, all he's got to do is give a slight bumper, and we can have a race on. But you can see that 16 car. Some corners it exits perfectly, like that corner. Some corners, that thing is dirt tracking.
Well, I was going to ask, did you not say, I don't know if the bumper will come into play at some point?
Well, it's happened a few times now.
Yeah.
It's still a short track race.
And it's still an Enduro.
Yeah. So the shadows continuing to get long here as we battle it up. More traffic.
Now that's Carrasco. This 5 car's been fast. This is going to be a hard pass for your leaders.
This track is still busy with a flurry of excitement.
Mark Martin.
And these leaders have yet to have an arm out the window, take a sip of water, and take it easy.
Holiday Road and turn number 1. Now Carrasco being a bit respectful to your leaders here, giving them that inside line. So going to move away and let them deal with their race. Now again, if you're Carrasco, you want the leaders close and tight to each other because anything can happen in the late stages of this race.
And the leaders getting by that pack of traffic. It looks like they have at least a lap or 2 of clean air ahead of them.
Now, I don't know if you saw that, Tommy. The shot last time by, we've been talking about him all race long. The 49 of Cox with mechanical issues. He's pulled it into the infield.
I missed it initially, but thanks to the low-budget TV replay, look at that. Chris Cox gave up the go there through 1 and 2. So with 10 laps to go, we see the top 5. Rowe still trying to chase down the 16. Henson, Young, and Foley now. That 12S, remember, he spun to the infield earlier this race.
Yep.
Staying on track, running in the top 5 now.
And we talked about the 97 of Henson. It's paying off for him, how hard he's been pushing it as he's now closing in on that 16. Wants to get another one of his laps back. Tommy, we are in the closing laps of this race, inside of 10 laps to go. And as you can see, I see one leader. I don't see the other one anymore.
Yeah, Rowe looks like he has fallen off the pace to the 16, the Kimmler-McKeever ride. And it's still, we just see these lap traffic cars keep coming into frame. A little bit of pressure from behind. But Jeffrey, if you're going to win this race, you earn it. We've noticed that today.
Yeah, I mean, you can just look at the car. Does this car look like a car that raced 300 laps? Hell yes, it does.
Yes, it does. The whole right side, some of the left side door, marked up and down, and absolutely earned it today if he's going to come home with the win. More lap traffic, though, thanks to Tim, our camera guy, who is brilliantly filming the traffic up ahead and then giving us a nice close-up view of Henson trying to get another lap back.
Now, it's not a done deal until we throw the checker. The 16 has just about a straightaway length lead over the number 1 of Rowe. So Rowe is still hanging in there. He's not pressuring for the lead right now, but if anything happens to the 16, the 1 is ready to pounce.
Absolutely. If a little spin or slide or some sort of hang up with lap traffic, smack the wall, then we have another lead change potentially. But the Kimmler-McKeever ride dicing it out through this traffic fairly quickly, as we've seen all race long.
So now do you let the 97 go? Do you feel okay about doing that?
Does the 16 even know where the 1 is? I don't know. Maybe at this point, you just kind of go with it.
True. Well, the Duran tank is still on track. That's all that matters.
That is true, yes. I wonder how many pit stops that thing has made amongst so many others here. Carrasco there is running up in the top 5 earlier on in this race.
Slipped out. So we saw, and when we saw that ticker show up, a couple of new names showing up inside the top 5. Just again goes to show you never give up as they're coming to the line. Looks like 3 laps to go left in this one.
And you know, if you're the 16 team, whether you're in the pits or on the track, that thing is, you're just crossing your fingers and your toes that you can keep it going for those remaining laps.
If you're any of those people, this is what you don't want to see. You're like, can we just be done with lap traffic?
Yeah.
Like, is that okay? Can we just be done with this? A little bit of breathing room here for the 16. Obviously, a little bit pressure from behind, but this is a pretty safe spot. Just got to bring it home. You're so close to the finish. You have raced 298 laps to bring it out of turn number 4. The white flag is in the air for the 16, Kimmler McKeever.
That car has been in the fight for the win here all day long, and it looks like the Kimmler McKeever ride are a half a lap away from victory.
It'll be 300 laps of completion out of turn number 4. The 16 did it better than the rest. The battle goes to the 16. Kimmler McKeever are your winners.
So we're taking a look at the entire field rundown, and it is McKeever, Kimmler, with Rowe, Henson, Young, and Sola, your top 5. But Jeffrey, this is just page 1 of 2. All these cars getting represented here, and another great battle of the fenders here from Colorado National.
Some of these drivers were in contention early. They weren't able to keep it into contention the entire race long, but this was the team that was able to keep it together and do it better than anybody else. That car had speed all day. They were just riding for some of this.
Well, like you said, Jeffrey, that strategy that they had, it worked out to perfection. Once they got by Rowe, they were able to open up the lead every lap into a full straightaway length gap. He's going to send it over to the fans and the crews to do a little victory celebration here at Colorado National.
Hey, if you got any tire left on that car, you might as well use it.
You've definitely used all your money's worth here. As we thank you all for joining with us here at Colorado National Speedway. Jeffrey, this was our first Battle of the Fenders to witness, and I can promise you it will not be our last.
Loved it. We hope that you all had fun joining us here on Low Budget TV for a wild one out in Colorado National Speedway. I'm Jeffrey Best alongside Tommy Mason. We're Low Budget TV, and we'll see you at the races.